All right, what's up guys? This is Jake, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can set up a B2B wholesale store in your existing Shopify store without having to use Shopify Plus. So you'll be able to display wholesale elements like this in your store. We can see we have a tiered discount right here showing on the product page, and these elements will only be visible to logged in wholesale customers. So it's going to work seamlessly in your existing retail store. So you'll be able to sell it to wholesale and retail all in one store. I'm also going to show you how you'll be able to set up a quick buy form in your store. So wholesale customers can use a form like this to place bulk orders easily by just making selections right like this and adding items to the order in bulk. And just to show you an example, if I were to sign out and then go to these pages, if I go back to that same product, we can see that the wholesale pricing is now gone. And if I were to take a look at the quick order form page, we can see that this section is only accessible by wholesale customers and it is locked off. I'll also be showing you how you can set up a sign up form for your wholesale customers. So they'll have to fill out this form to apply for wholesale access, and then you'll be able to choose whether or not you want to accept or reject these applicants. So with that said, you're not going to need Shopify Plus or anything, but you are going to need a Shopify app for this setup. So we're going to be using Process Wholesale B2B pricing for this setup. So if you want to follow along step by step with this video, go ahead and click the first link in the description to install the Process Wholesale app or search for it in the Shopify App Store. The app does have a 14-day free trial, so if you don't like it, you can just cancel your subscription before you get charged. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the setup process, and I'm going to be walking you through step by step how you can set up everything. And we're going to go ahead and get started now on a completely fresh store. So this store was just made, and I'm going to be showing you how you can set up the app on the Dawn theme. However, the setup is exactly the same no matter what theme you're using, and the app is going to be pretty much compatible with all themes anyway, as long as your theme is updated to OS 2.0, meaning that you can add app blocks to it, then the app will be compatible with your theme. So once you've installed the app and you open it up, it's going to look like this. And normally you would follow the onboarding steps, but instead I'm just going to show you how to do everything step by step in this video. So to get started, we actually don't need to do anything in the app yet. The first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to set up our sign up form. So to do that, there's one thing we need to check first. So there are two different account types in Shopify. So if I open up settings and I go to customer accounts, we can see that there are customer accounts and there are legacy accounts. So customer accounts, this is when users will sign in with a confirmation code sent to their email. And then legacy accounts works like normal accounts do for most websites, where you just create an account and you sign in with an email and a password. Now the app supports both of these types of customer accounts. So it just depends on which one you want to use. But depending on which one you're using, the setup process is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to start off by showing you how it works with legacy accounts, just because a lot of users tend to prefer legacy, but then I'll also show you how to set up with customer accounts. So if you're using new customer accounts, you can skip this part. And if you're using legacy accounts, you can skip the next part. So to add the sign up form, all you have to do is go to the theme customizer and open it up. And then you're going to come down here to pages, and then you're going to click create template, and we'll just call this wholesale sign up, and then click on create template. And then all we're going to do is come down here to the template and click on add section apps, and then we're going to add in the wholesale sign up form. Now there's two sign up forms in the app. There's a base fixed sign up form, and then there's a custom sign up form where you can edit the different fields. Now the custom sign up form is only available on the highest plan in the app. So if you're not using that, you would just use the base form, but both of them work in the exact same way. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to add the base form. But if you're using the custom sign up form, it's going to work exactly the same. And you can see that we just add the form in here, and you can edit the rest of the page template if you want, as you choose. And we can see here, this actually wouldn't be here. It's just because this is showing a page preview that doesn't actually exist yet. So this won't actually be here on the sign up page, which we're going to get to in a second. So once we add in the sign up form, you can edit different text over here on the right. For the sake of this video, I'm going to leave everything in the app settings as default, so that way we don't have the video going for an hour, but you can take as much time as you need to edit all of these different texts over here. And then you can choose whether you want these fields to be optional, required, or hidden. And you can also choose to override the default design and add in different design customization as you please right here. So I'm going to leave it as default, and I'm just going to click on save. And now we just need to head back to the store, and we're going to go to online store pages, and we just need to create a page for this form now. So I'm just going to create a page called wholesale sign up, and then we're going to change the template to the page template that we just created to wholesale sign up, and then click on save. Then we just want to make sure the visibility here is set to visible. So then we just need to add it to our menu. So we're just going to go to content and then menus, and I'm going to just add it to the main menu in this case. So I can just name it like wholesale sign up, and then we can add the page in here. And then we can see that it's added. And if we go over to the store preview, we can now see that the wholesale sign up form has been successfully added. So that's all you have to do for setting up for legacy accounts. Now, let's say you are on new accounts. So if you're going to use legacy accounts, you can skip this part. And if you are using new customer accounts, then this is the part you're going to watch. So I'm just going to switch the store settings over to this really quick. And then in order to set up the sign up form for new customer accounts, we're going to go back to the customizer once again. And then we're just going to go to checkout and customer accounts. And then we're going to go over here to apps. And then we're going to add in the wholesale sign up form right here. We're going to add it to the account page. And then you can edit whether the fields are going to be hidden or required. And then we just need to click save. And then we need to add this to our navigation so that way it is accessible. So we just click add to menu, wholesale sign up form, save, and then now it will show up top once you refresh. And then if we go back to apps, we also just need to add in the wholesaler information to the profile template. And then this is just going to add a sign up link for any existing accounts that you can add in if you want. And then this will also show wholesale information to logged in customers. So we can just add that in and click save. And then that's all you have to do to set up for new customer accounts. Now, one thing to keep in mind in terms of how this works for the user is if I go back here and we open up the store, the main difference between new customer accounts and legacy customer accounts is on legacy customer accounts, the customer can just click on the wholesale sign up link and immediately fill out the sign up form like this. But if you're on new customer accounts, then the customer would actually have to log in to their account first to be able to see the menu. If I were to log in right now and click submit, we can see the wholesale sign up form would now be visible right here. So that's the main difference. So depending on your account type, that's how you can set up the sign up form for both. Now this is going to be personal preference, whether you prefer the new customer accounts setup or the legacy customer account setup. So that's how you can set up both. And now that we have the sign up form set up, we just need to set up the rest of our wholesale elements. Now for the rest of this video, I am going to switch over to legacy accounts, as I personally feel using legacy accounts is a bit more intuitive with a wholesale store. But if you prefer the new customer accounts, you can use that as well. So now we're going to set up the actual pricing on the product pages itself. So to do that, we need to go back to online store and then go to customize once again, open up the customizer. And then this time we're just going to go to products and then open up our product template. Under product information, we're just going to add in an app block, product wholesale, and you can drag this under price. You can put it wherever you want, but this is normally where you're going to put it. And you can see this is a preview. Depending on the discount type, this is what it's going to look like. And then you can edit which columns display here. You can edit the color styling as you choose. I'm not going to do that in this video, but you can spend as much time on that as you need. And then you just have to click on save, and that's it. That's all you have to do for setting up the product template. It's very quick and easy. And the quick buy form that we looked at earlier is also easy to set up. So if we go up here to pages, we're going to create another template. So this is going to be the same as for the legacy signup form. So we're going to create a template. We can just call it quick buy. And then we're going to do the same thing down here in template. We're going to add a section. And then this time we're going to add the quick buy in. And then over here on the right, you can choose a specific collection to display here. So by default, it's going to display all your products. But if you only want it to display a specific collection of products, you can choose that collection right here. And then you can choose different options, like whether you want to show the original price, show the amount of stock. And then of course you can edit all of the colors, and you can choose whether or not you want to display a sign up form or a lock screen for users that are not logged in, because this will only be visible to logged in users. And then you can configure some of the other text settings in here as well. So as mentioned before, I'm going to leave this all default for the sake of time, and I'm just going to click on save. Now, once we've created this template, we just need to do the same thing we did for the sign up form. We need to go back. We need to go to online store pages, and we're going to create a new page. And then this time we can just call it quick buy. And then we're going to set the template to the quick buy template we just created. And we're going to set the visibility to visible and just click on save. So once this is saved, we just need to add this to our store navigation now. So we're going to go back to content and menus. And I'm going to add this to the main menu right here. So I'm going to click add menu item. And I'm just going to call it quick buy, and then go to pages and add it in. So if I click save, and then we come over here to the store and I refresh, we can now see that this is now available. Now, of course, you can add this to a wholesale drop-down menu if you want, by just adding like another item and just putting these under it like that. So if you wanted these to be like a drop-down menu, you could set it up like that. But I'm just keeping things simple for this video. So taking a look at what we have the sign up form, and then now we have the quick buy table, which right now is locked because we are not logged into a wholesale customer account. So that does it for the storefront setup. So now we actually have to do some app side setup. So if we come back here and we open up the app, what we need to do next is come over here to discounts and create our first discount. So there's a few different discount types in the app. There are flat discounts and there are tier discounts. So a flat discount could just be a flat percentage or a flat amount price off. So say like 50% off or $50 off. And then tier discounts would be something like if you wanted to create tiered pricing, so discounts based on the quantity of the product in the cart or based on the total amount in the cart. So in this video, I'm just going to set up a basic tier discount. So I'm just going to click create tier discount, and I'm going to choose to base it off of product quantity. And you can choose whether or not you want the discount to apply to all your products or only certain products or certain collections. So you can have multiple different discounts in your store, and you can have them apply to different products, and you can also assign different discounts to different customers as well. So there's a lot of customization involved. But in this case, I'm just going to create a simple tier discount. I'm going to add 3 tiers to it. So the first tier is just going to be you have to at least buy 2, and that will give 10% off. The second tier, we'll set it as you buy 4, and you get 20% off. And then the third tier will be you buy 6, and you get 30% off. So I'm going to click save here on this discount. And now that we have this discount created, we have pretty much everything set up for customers to be able to get wholesale pricing on your store. So now what we need to do is actually get a customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the store and I'm going to fill out the wholesale sign up form really quick so I can show you what the process is like there. So I just filled out the sign up form and now we can see that our wholesale account is under review. So when someone fills out the sign up form over here in the app, if you go to the customers page, they're going to show up right here under pending. So you can see I just filled it out with this account, Jake Teston. And if we come over here to actions, we can accept or reject the customer. So I'm going to click on view details and then you can see the details for the customer. So you can see the customer, you can see their email, and you can see the sign up notes. So this is the stuff that they inputted in the sign up form. I didn't fill out all of the fields here. I only filled out address and business name, as you can see here. But this is where you'd see all of the sign up information. And if you're using the custom sign up form, it's exactly the same. You'll see all of the sign up information here. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this account. So now this account I just approved is now an active B2B customer. So if I were to come over to the store and click on quick buy, we can now see I have access to the wholesale elements. But you'll notice that there's no discount present. And that's because you have to actually assign a discount now to the customer. So we're going to open this up and we're going to click on manage discount tags. And we're going to assign the discount that we just created to this test account. And I'm going to click save. And now you can see the discount tag has been assigned. So if I come back over here and refresh, we'll now see the discount is now being assigned for these products. And if I go over to the product pages, it's going to show up here as well because we added in the product block earlier as well. So that's how the whole process works. Now, let's say if I were to add 2 of these to cart, I'll show you what the discount looks like. So if we view the cart, we can see that the discount shows up right here. And then if you go to checkout, you can see that the discount shows up right here. And it works the same for the quick buy table. So if you were to use the quick buy table, you can just go through here. Let's say we'll add a few of these different products to the order. And then for the quick buy table, how it works is you add all of these products to the order, and then you can click on view order here. And then this will allow you to add all of these products to the cart in bulk. So if I click add to cart, we can see all of these items have been added to the cart, and then we can see the discount is now being applied for all of these products. That's how you can set up wholesale pricing end to end in your existing Shopify store. You can see that none of this impacts your retail customers at all. So you can sell to wholesale and retail in the same store. Now, there are a few other more advanced features inside of the app that you can use to set up. So I'll run through these really quickly. Now, the rest of this isn't mandatory for use, but it is something that you can set up. So if I came over to the custom signup form, as I mentioned before, the custom signup form works the same way as the regular signup form, except it's just going to have custom fields on it. So you can come in here and add in your own fields. You can add in fields such as file uploads. So if you wanted users to be able to upload like a business license or something like that, you can do that by using a file upload field right here. And there's a separate tutorial inside of the app for this form as well. There's some other settings. So there's shipping options. So what you could do here is you can select specific shipping options that will only be available for wholesale customers. So I can show you how this would work really quick. So if I went to checkout right now, we can see that there's 2 shipping options showing up, economy and standard. But if I were to come in here and just select standard, for example, as the wholesale shipping option, this would be the only shipping option available for wholesale customers, and it would be hidden from retail customers. So if I were to click save here, and then I were to come over back to the checkout, we can see that now only standard is visible. And if I were to log out and be on a retail account, then only economy would be visible. So that's how the shipping feature works. And then there's a few other checkout rules that you can also apply. So if you come to settings and then go to checkout rules, you can set different B2B features such as a minimum order amount and a minimum order quantity. So the minimum order amount's pretty straightforward. You just set it, and then that amount has to be added to the cart or the order is blocked. So we can see that this order has 7,500 subtotal, 6,500 total in it. Let's say if I were to just set the minimum order amount to 10,000 and save it. If I were to come over here and refresh the checkout, we would now see minimum order amount for wholesale customers is 10,000. So checkout would be blocked. Now you can do the same with minimum order quantity, except this would work for products. So we can see we have 2, 2, 2, and 4 in the cart. So if I were to set the minimum order quantity for all products to 5, click save, and then refresh, we'd see that the minimum order quantity would be enforced on each one of these products. Now, if I changed it to 4, we would see that it would only be enforced on the 3 products that there are only 2 of in the cart. So that's minimum order quantity. And then the last checkout rule is hiding payment methods. So if there's certain payment methods here that you don't want to be available for wholesale, then you can hide them. In this case, we only have credit card, so hiding this would mean there's no payment methods. But if you have specific payment methods, like say cash on demand or something like that, or money orders that you wanted to hide, you can just enter the exact payment method here, just enter it, and then that would block the payment method. Those are checkout rules. There's a couple other settings you can do in here, such as customer settings. You can choose to auto assign tags to customers. So if you don't want to manually assign discounts, you come in here to auto assign. So what this will mean is every single time that you approve a customer on the customers page, they'll automatically be assigned the discounts you select here. So if you want all of your wholesale customers to have the same discount, you can just select that here, and that will save you a lot of time. For tax exemption, you can choose to set B2B customers to either have tax collected or not collected. So in this case, if you select this box, then customers will be exempt from taxes, and by default they will not be exempt. So if you want them to be exempt, you just check this box. And then you can also choose to send email notifications to customers when their application is approved. So whenever someone fills out the sign up form and you approve them, you can send a notification email here by checking this box. There's also net payment terms. So if I enable net terms, this will allow customers to check out with a net term when they're using the quick buy table. So for example, if I save this right here, so let's say I went back to the quick buy table and I just add these 2 products to the cart, we can see that now the payment terms are selected. So instead of adding products to the cart, we can choose to go straight to checkout with a net payment term. So let's say I had net 15. I can go straight to checkout. And what this will do is it's going to open up checkout with a payment method of net 15, which means choose payment method later. So the customer will just be able to enter their shipping address and confirm the order. And then they'll have 15 days to enter a payment method and pay for the total amount due. That's how you can set up the Process Wholesale app end to end in your existing retail store. You can seamlessly set up wholesale pricing in your existing retail store without any impact to your retail customers using the Process Wholesale B2B pricing app. So if this is something you want to set up in your store, be sure to install the app by clicking the first link in the description or searching for Process Wholesale in the Shopify App Store. If you have any questions regarding the setup, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more videos, and I'll see you guys in another one.